We are live again at 11:05, sponsored by SpiritCars.com. How's that for an intro? We like that on BC. Yeah, it works. And obviously I'm with Spirit Cars. We build hot rods, T-buckets, all kinds of cars, but we're kind of focused on T-buckets today. Stephanie, the new camera person behind the camera there. And Josh, the voice of Spirit Cars, you've come to know and love him. You just got to call now if you want to talk to him or see his hand wave or whatever. Maybe you can do a phone thing with him. I don't know. Fenders on a T-bucket. A lot of us don't like them. A lot of states require them. Especially if you're in Australia, you got to have them. There's a good place for them. I mean, it keeps trash from jumping off and, you know, scratching your car and doing. A lot of times we'll put a spindle mount fender in the front, and that'll just turn with the wheel. We have in the past went ahead and mounted our rear fenders to the rear differential, and it actually traveled with the wheel. We have just come up with this design for this car. It's a fender that's mounted to the body, and I like it. I like the design. It looks like it's going to do well. We offer fenders in several different ways, but we've never really built brackets or a bolt-on type of situation. But I think we may start doing that. I want you to come around this way and look at this fender we built. We decided that basically, if we bolt it to the bed right here, and I've got this metal brace coming around. It's a fiberglass fender with metal braces, and it's been glassed in. So if I take the metal brace on the bottom, then I've got a metal brace around here somewhere to go on the top of this. And when I put this under the bed of the body, or the bed of the fiberglass of the bed is going to sandwich between these two. And I'll clamp it down. So this is going to give me some pretty good surface area to hold that, so I'm not going to stress my fiberglass too bad. Then I have a bolt go through here to hold it onto the bed itself. This is actually a new design for us. First time we've done it like this on this car. It comes out pretty nice. We've taken, and before we even did it, had the wheels set up on the car and everything, and just take some foam or something, put it on your wheels, and get the fender lifted up to the height you want so it rides clean around the wheels. And probably want it tail dragging a little bit, so we've been working on this and got them painted. This car's about ready to come together, and I am pretty excited. So I think we're going to offer fenders. If anybody is really interested in fenders, why don't you just give us a shout out here and say, hey, I got fenders, and what we're going to have to do is offer maybe 2 or 3 or 4 different sizes based on, you know, yesterday was, I seen Tire Tuesday, so we had tires, and mostly the tires are huge. Sometimes the tires aren't so big, but it's got to have that proportion around the tire also, otherwise it's just not going to look right. So there's not one size fits all, one bracket fits all. On the front, I still like the spindle mount better, although we do a 27 with full fenders and a running board. And I mean, there's lots of ways to do it. That's not really an issue, but just do what you want, get it the way you want it. That's something we're going to start offering. I've been wiring away here, so since I'm doing that, I'm going to give you a couple tips. Why don't we show in here? Can we show in here?
Yeah.
Does this look better than when you were out here before looking for me?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah? Okay, so it's a little bit cleaner. I had a gobble wires just hanging out before. We've got the 39 tail lights, pretty common to the car. We've got a license plate mount that's got a light under it, and it's got a third brake light. Everything's LED. And LED, sometimes it don't matter if you hook it up backwards, sometimes it will destroy the bulb instantly, and you'll be done and you'll throw your light away. These tail lights here are definitely the kind, if you hook up wrong, your positive onto the negative, and power it up, you'll ruin the circuitry, you'll ruin the lights, and it just won't work. A lot of times on turn signals with LED, there is no standard. We're in a world where we're dealing with China brand, who has no ethics, morals, or standard. And we're dealing with American companies that, we've had our issues in the past too, but we've got some really good innovative products that come out that probably, like we talked about doing a low car shifter earlier in this car. Real quality products, but whenever they come up with a nice product, odds are good that it's going to get knocked off and sent somewhere else. The point of all that being, if you're a house electrician and you grab the white wire, probably nothing's going to happen because that should be the ground or neutral. Black wire is hot. Now if you go into 12 volt systems on a car, just the opposite. You're black, if I see a black wire in here, I'm going to think it's ground. If I see a white wire or a red wire, I'm probably going to think it's positive or hot. Green wires, generally you would think they would be neutral if you're hot wiring a house, or I'm wiring the, my three-phase in the facility here or whatever. But you can't count on anything here. These are actually backwards. My black wire, my white wire on this one is ground. My black wire is the running lights. My green wire is the turn signal stop light. On this, the same thing. You had one for the third brake light and one for the license plate light. And I assumed that the black wire, there's a black wire and then there's a black wire with a white stripe on it. I had assumed that the black wire was ground, and it was not. Luckily, the way this setup is, it didn't matter. I was able to check my lights, find out which is which. So I'm pretty confident, I'm pretty sure everything is going to work here. Make sure wherever you terminate a wire, that connection is good. You don't want that to fail. I like to clean it up. Anyway, if I left a gob of wires in here, it might be easier to trace if I had a problem. But if I pay attention to what I'm doing in the first place, I shouldn't have a problem. And if I terminate my wires good and have good connections, I shouldn't have a problem. So I can tape it up, I can clean it up. And this is the point on a car where this is the detail, the level of detail that your car is going to be right here. The odds are very slim that you're ever going to come back and tear all your wiring out because it's just a little bit messy and you want it nicer. Just go to whatever level you want to go to at this point. And this one looks pretty clean, but I sure could make it a whole lot cleaner. Again, there is no stopping point. You can always, always, always make it a little bit better. And at some point you just got to move on. I like to, as a general rule of thumb, the stuff that I want to see and that other people are going to see first, and most, I want to spend a little more time there. If they're going to be looking at the dash, I want to make that a little bit nicer, or at least put more time into it than I would say underneath of here. Although this is slick, you can see back under here. This is clean. This is just painted. It's clean. If you looked under the car, it's all slick. It's painted. It's clean. While we're talking about back here, I'm getting ready to put the gas tank in. Again, our world revolves around spirit, so this is building a T-bucket according to spirit. But the gas tank will fit in. I've got it painted, but it's going to barely fit over the frame here. So I haven't bolted my body down yet. I'll get one other person to help me, and I'll just lift the body up just about this much. I'll be able to tuck that right to where it goes. I've already pre-fit my gas tank, and there's some tabs on the side of it that will bolt to the side of the frame. So I've already had the body on, marked it. And this is one thing that you will probably need to do, is have your body on and off multiple times. Just to fit the thing, to make sure everything's right, everything's going. So it's been on and off, had my gas tank fitted, marked my holes, drilled my holes, tapped my frame. It's a 3/16 frame, so I have no problem tapping and running a quarter 20 bolts or a couple quarter 20 bolts on each side to put my gas tank down. I'll put some felt or some kind of a material between the tank and the frame, and then put the frame in. Then there's a cover that goes on here. It'll open and close. Did I talk about flashers on an LED? I did not. Now LEDs have been around in this for a while, and these are LEDs, so they're much brighter than the old 1157 bulbs. But an LED does not draw very much current. So if you're, Stephanie's shaking her head. Are you doing the shaking of the camera too? No. Yes, you are. So anyway, the way the flasher works, it's a capacitor. It draws down the electricity till it's empty, then it fills up again. And then it goes down, stops, fills up again. So it's back and forth like that. That's what stops it and makes it flash. Simple explanation. I'm sure some of you electricians, or not electricians, but electronics guys, know more about building a circuit than I do. But that's the general principle, and the LED does not draw enough current to pull the flasher down enough to tell it to, okay, charge again. So it just goes down enough where your LED don't work, or it just stays on basically and doesn't flash, doesn't go off. So a couple ways to fix that. You can put a resistor in the circuit. Back when it was first happening and everybody was like, oh, what's going on? We finally figured it out. There was no, now they make flashers, LED flashers, that you can replace the flasher. There's several styles of that. Not all of them work because not all the LED designs are the same. This one has a circuit in it, I believe, that actually puts that resistance into it. So you don't have to have a special flasher with this one, I believe. I'm not sure. Again, China brand. It comes in a white box and you get what you get. You're not, even if you buy the same part number from the same company, they change constantly. So that's just, it is what it is. We deal with it, and that's what we got to do. So I talked about flashers, I talked about fenders, I talked about make it clean, tidy up your wiring. I like that. Should I show my mistake? Yeah, she's shaking. You want to make me look bad? All right, got my locator. You can go on that side. Remember how I told everybody when you were watching a couple days ago about cutting the hole for the shifter, using your bolts to mark the hole, go off the bolts, measure it on the transmission and the frame, mark all that, did all that, had my thing, got it down, good, cut my hole. Well, here's my center line. Cut it. I cut me a perfect hole. I mean, it was perfect, only I measured and went in front of the thing instead of on the back. So anyway, luckily my hole was the right size. All I had to do was pick up my piece, use it as a template. I moved it back, here's my center line. I come back that 1/8 of an inch, cut my hole here, put it in, glued, and put all this back. So it wasn't that big of a problem. But even if you measure everything right and you got it all right and you know you got it, sometimes if you're not paying attention, you can cut on the wrong side of the line. So this is a case where I cut on the wrong side of the line. So, oh well, hate to go backwards to go forward, but sometimes you got to. We have been putting on, where have we been putting? T-Bucket TV or both of them?
Both.
Both Spirit cars. What are they called?
What called? Those?
No, Spirit cars.
There's Spirit
on YouTube.
Cars, and then there's just T-Bucket TV.
And T-Bucket TV. So we've been doing a step 1, step 2, part 1, part 2, part 3 of how to build a T-Bucket 101. So that's going on there if you can find it. We did another one this morning, and we're just going to keep uploading those, and kind of separate than YouTube, but or Facebook. I'm getting confused. We have Facebook, and now you want me to do Instagram too, and some other kind of stuff. Who knows? I'm still into reading the books. So we got Coffee Break Contemplations, Pass It On, buddy of mine. The Hot Rod Man, Ernie, wrote these books. And I just use a quote of him to finish this little segment every day. The best answers are thoughtful, simple, and to the point. Hogging the airtime only takes away from the productivity of the conversation. So I do a lot of airtime hogging. That's kind of my specialty. Although we try to keep them in the 15-minute range here. Hopefully we'll give you some information, do it in a simple form, and make these videos helpful for you. That's the goal. And again, we'd like to supply you all the parts and pieces and make your dream come true, but whether you bought it from us or not, we enjoy the fellowship of those that are in this hobby, and it's just a great hobby to be in. So for today, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow.